Hello everybody, this is KanakoVoWG, otherwise known as Jonathan, if you want to call me that. I asked Fuse if he wouldn't mind if I did one of the stages for him, and he happily agreed, so I'll probably be doing other stages as well later on. And I hope you'll also enjoy my commentary as well as his. But anyways, first up on the list is the Netherworld, which you are now ascending to via a long line of stairs. I bet that would be so very hard for most people to actually climb, myself included. No offense to anybody. But the Netherworld itself is the land where ghosts reside, and it's usually for ghosts that are relatively guiltless, so that they can either achieve enlightenment or await for reincarnation. But usually the ghosts actually don't really want to leave, because it's actually quite a beautiful place with cherry blossoms and like all the lovely flora and fauna that goes with that. And quite frankly, sometimes I don't think I could actually blame them if they wanted to leave. The place itself is separated by a powerful magic gate. It's powerful enough that even Marissa cannot break through it herself. However, despite this, it's kind of vague on what exactly it protects, so you could potentially fly over it, which is what Reimu actually does. In her, if you play as her, that's what she does. Marissa does that. Reimu actually breaks through the barrier, probably because she is a barrier maiden herself, and Sakuya just bypasses it altogether somehow. I don't think that's ever actually explained, except in the quotes. Then the portal itself is weakened for the purposes of the plot of the game, but it's not quite repaired. As for why, I can't tell you right now. You just gonna have to bear with me on that. And coming up right now is the perpetrator behind, and pretty much the main reason why winter is coming, though why this is happening, that's for another video. So you just have to bear with me.
Thank you, Kanako. Now I'm just gonna step in for a bit and quickly explain things about Yomu herself. She's a bit of an oddity in terms of what she is, even from what we've seen so far. She's a half-human, half-yuurei hybrid. That is, half of her is human, and the other half is the shapeless form trailing behind her known as a yuurei. A yuurei can be considered your typical human spirit that leaves the body after death but is still bound to the living world by strong emotions like love, hatred, or grief. So these are usually the types of ghosts you hear about in ghost stories. Yomu is half of that, and the newcomers at this point are probably like, this isn't that movie Ghost! How can a human have a prolonged relationship with someone on the other side? To that I answer, it isn't. In fact, the entire Konpaku family is made up of half-ghosts, making them quite unique among those in the afterlife. That aside, possibly the scariest part about Yomu is her theme, Till When. It says to me, living humans aren't supposed to be here, so what Yoma's gonna do if you don't intend to leave is cut you up into itty-bitty cubes and make you dead. That's frightening. Being at the end of a blade is frightening. That's all I really had to say. Back to you, Kanako.
Now, there are a couple things that I want to talk about during this fight, one of them being Yomu's role as the main perpetrator behind what's going on in PCB, and another thing I want to talk about is her difficulty as a 5th stage boss, but I want to talk about that first. In the general Touhou community, people usually consider Yomu to be one of the hardest of the 5th stage bosses in all the Touhou games, and some even consider it the hardest, with Sakuya being changed in 1st and 2nd, though I personally consider Sakuya to be the hardest. One of the reasons is this card right here, Half Sword, 200 Yojana, and 1 slash. As you can see with all the bullets coming out like crazy from the bubbles, it generally creates a large wall of things you can't easily get out of, and that's usually what trips up other people, myself included. However, I have managed to capture this card a couple of times. And the first time I actually did was really more of a fluke than anything. And I still can't believe I actually caught it that one time. Yeah, these things can happen. And now, the other thing I want to talk about is her role as the perpetrator of the pretty much everything that's happened in PCB. All the spring being captured, the entire reason the Herons are even here in the first place. Letty, the Prism Rivers. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine, but usually, though you haven't exactly seen this trend, but Stage 1 bosses and Stage 2 bosses usually aren't plot important, but I kind of think that Letty is indirectly related because of the effects of what's going on here, which is why I'm saying that even she is, all part of what's going on. As for me, when I first played this game, I honestly did not really care about the general storyline. I was more playing for the difficulty and the gameplay itself. But now that I've actually had more of a chance to really look over the story behind this, yeah, you can really kind of see how you might feel a little bit of dislike or hatred against Yomu for disrupting everything, especially if you want to, especially if people like to have things all orderly and all that stuff. But even now, I can't quite get that feeling of animosity. I can't really feel it. It's just not there. But one of the things that I think contributes to the symbolism in this is also the fact that when she concentrates to do the flashes to go from one side to the next, you can actually see cherry blossom quite visibly behind her, and I think that's kind of a bit of symbolism in there. Because it's, the relationship between the cherry blossoms, the cherry points, what Yomu did, it's kind of symbolic of what's going on here. But probably is a little bit deeper meaning to it all, but I've never been that much of a philosopher, so that's really just my own personal thoughts on the whole matter. And then going back to Yomu being one of the strongest PCB bosses, this is, in my opinion, one of the more defining reasons why she has that position. Heaven's Sword, 4 Signs of the Day. This is the only card that in her entire repertoire that I have never captured on normal. Like, ever. I've gotten close a few times. It's been like a sliver of health, I think, before I finally died, and it just really makes you really mad and all that. But, those things happen. Anyways, as this wraps up, I just want to. I know many of you probably want to. Hey, wait a minute. Why do you keep, saying you're gonna have to save stuff for later? Well, I want to, but there's just some things that Fuse wants to see himself. So yeah. Oh, that, and he poked me through the screen with Lukankin or something if I didn't. And while I don't totally think that'd be true, I don't want to test it.